Hello! Hello and welcome.
Hello. Welcome to the Metropolitan Leads.
We've had no mail this week, have we?
We've had no mail, that's very disappointing. Well, we did, but it was just sensible. So, yeah, because it's sensible. Yeah. It's funny how it's the Brexiters who are aggressive. I won't say unnecessarily aggressive, because you could argue it's necessary to be aggressive. I find that it's those are the ones that haven't you even made up your mind? You're an idiot. You know, which isn't going to persuade anyone. It's quite funny. Whereas the stayers are, well, it's obvious. No, la.
Well, I think it's a very similar sort of thing to the shy Tories with the Remainers. People are just going to do it.
Yeah, the people who would remain wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
So it makes it completely unknown.
Yeah, it does. It really, really does. Okay, so what's happened this week then?
Well, my moment of the week, I mean, there's not much news this week, but I mean, this morning we had IDS on Radio 4 being really unpleasant. I find it's not because of who he is, it's because he is really unpleasant. I'm sure of it, because I didn't know who he was when I put it on. I didn't recognise the voice. It was only afterwards I realised it was IDS. And he said about, well, my party, Conservative Party, my party. Talking about David Cameron, he was saying, well, I've always said that I don't try and guess what people are thinking, I just judge them on what they're doing. But this is what David Cameron's thinking. He's so unpleasant. I'm so glad he's gone. Because at least the idiots are educated in some sense and aren't just con artists. They are con artists, but they're trained con artists. You know, IDS isn't even a trained con artist. He's just, what's the guy who writes the books?
Archer, Jeffrey Archer.
Yeah, it's Jeffrey Archer, isn't it? The same thing. It's just a con artist. IDS is a con artist.
I find that interesting you say that, because obviously we've seen a lot more of IDS now, because he's quit his cabinet position, because there's like a blanket ban on government ministers going on television and doing interviews on the Daily Politics or Andrew Marr or whatever, which is vaguely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Actually, I watched him the other day and I thought it was actually quite reasonable, which was very
that's interesting.
Yeah, very peculiar, which made me think
they made him bad when he was there. It's their fault.
It does make you think how much of it was down to the Treasury and all that. But
well, that's what he says, isn't it?
He's a pretty dyed-in-the-wool Tory, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's social Tory, remember? He's social conservative, not an economic conservative. He's a nasty sort.
I haven't heard the Radio 4 interview.
I remember only had a clip of it.
Yeah.
So it may have just been the shock of someone horrible in the morning talking.
Yeah.
Tory talking to me in the morning.
Well, I mean, I saw several interviews, and you know, he's trotting out the typical Brexit lines, attacking all these reports that come out. And to be honest, I mean, I kind of agree with them in a sort of sense.
When he's saying that this is obviously scaremongering, and he's right, isn't he?
Yeah, but
they're doing it as well.
There is a hypocrisy about it, because you know, they were the agents of the scaremongering
for years.
Well, come the last general election, you know, that they didn't have a problem of it when they were saying Ed Miliband was in the pocket of Nicola Sturgeon or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, has that sort of swayed your attitude towards the vote? You know, we've both been pretty much.
Well, you saw a video, didn't you, on YouTube?
Yeah, I reacted, you know, gutturally to it, almost visceral repulsion to what the guy was saying. And
I only watched half of it, but I listened to what he said. It didn't. I'm still.
I think essentially, you know, the right wing in America has gone is a lot further down the road than our right wing, and this guy was particularly fringe. And it piqued my interest because he started talking about Brexit, and he started the conversation with the problem with debating people is not that people don't understand the debate, it's that they don't listen. They don't listen to your argument. I thought
that's not debating, is it? That's arguing.
Yeah, he started off on a good point, but it just sort of like went rapidly downhill after that. Basically, he was saying that Britain should vote to leave the EU because of Muslims, essentially, and Muslims are stupid because Islam allows marriage to cousins and incest lowers IQ, and it's been proven that Muslims have a lower IQ. And it's not fair on them that we allow them into this country because they can't compete because they've got a lower IQ.
Oh, that's proper stuff, isn't it?
So I was pretty.
How can you agree? That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah. So I thought there's no way I can associate with this and vote to leave. But I mean,
But the same problem, who you in voting to stay, who you agree with?
Yeah.
Empty suit bastards. Basically, that's what it is.
Well,
Isn't it?
this takes us kind of neatly to my moment of the week, which was very quietly hidden beneath the headlines of Boris versus Dave and Dave versus Michael Gove and prophecies of doom from the Treasury.
Yeah.
Was the news that another bailout or an extension to the bailout had been agreed to Greece to the tune of 10.3 billion euros or something
Another
like
one?
that.
Goodness me.
Yeah, and it seems that in the Eurozone, I think we're about a year down the road from the big controversy. It's widely becoming accepted that Greece is not going to be able to meet its debt obligations.
Of course it is.
It's implementing
Obviously.
incredibly draconian measures in taxation and pension reform and stuff like that. And the sort of surplus that they're generating is like half of what they were expecting, and they're not going to be able to pay off their debt. So
But they
debt
must
relief
know that.
is somewhere down the road.
If we know that, they must know that. So why are they doing it? That's that neoliberal thing, isn't it? That they're just going to keep doing it, not listening.
Well, it's difficult because I mean, at the end of the day, there is a sort of German sense of frugality, and this is all about Germany essentially, because they're the one who are going to end up paying for it, and the German taxpayer is going to end up paying for it. And there is a sense that you should, if you take on ridiculous amounts of debt, you should work hard and get your sense out of it, which is very good. But
if you lend ridiculous amounts of debt, knowing
this is the point, isn't it? The issue is that the German economy is doing so well because it has access to underdeveloped markets like Greece, in which you can get cheap parts to build cars to sell to America, increase its profit margin. So people in Germany do extremely well on the back of cheap labour, basically, coming in from these countries. And yet when we talk about bailing them out, the German taxpayer feels a little bit
and they're benefiting
I'm
from
going
it.
to work, I'm working hard, why should I bail those out? There's that sense of
That's capitalism in a nutshell, isn't it?
it's not capitalism, it's human nature more than anything else. I mean, it's the similar processes in this country where people sort of have a go at economic migrants, although the figures show that on the whole migrants contribute to the economy. They claim a lot less in benefits than they put in, and they come here to work, and they generate jobs because they're here, they're entrepreneurial, they want to get on. People see it and they think, well, I'm not earning as much as I should. Whose fault is it? It's not mine.
It can't be the government's fault.
Yeah.
The newspaper said it wasn't the government's fault.
It's not mine. It's the migrants. They're an easy.
It's obviously not my fault. I'm not to blame for anything.
Pretty sure it's the similar sort of process.
Yeah.
That goes that people cannot see beyond their own pocket.
Yeah.
Basically.
And blame.
People are responsible for their own plight, which is true in some circumstances, not so true in others. But I mean, the winds of change in Europe, their attitude is coming.
Yeah,
I can feel, and the Greek bailout went without a hitch. There was no sort of fanfare. Oh, you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to collect the next 3 years' taxes up front.
I didn't even know.
Exactly, it was very quiet because people have basically surrendered to the fact that Greece is going to.
But something actually happening in the EU got shouted down because they're making stuff up. It's just gibberish. Just Hitler, ISIS.
Yeah. So I thought that was rather interesting that passed quietly by, and sort of like the implication that.
I would like the vote to finish. I would like to be after the election now.
Yeah.
It's finished now.
It'd be good because
I'm done with this.
So our Reddit poll, we've done another Reddit poll this week. After our very successful one, we had quite a few votes.
It was very good. Yeah.
Paul is leader of the opposition in 2020. So after the inevitable collapse of the Conservative Party post-referendum, who's going to be the leader of the opposition in 2020 if the government actually gets that far? So
no, you're saying no? Yes. Yes. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. No, it is. Yes.
So our options are Boris Johnson, Theresa May, Michael Gove, Sajid David Davis, Ken Clarke, or Michael Portillo.
Yeah, all the options are there.
Yeah. So one of those is going to be leader of the opposition in 2020. Which one's it going to be? Should we see if we've got any reports? We've got one vote for Theresa May and one vote for David Davis.
That's interesting. You would assume, I would guess people would say Boris, wouldn't they? Perhaps they're putting who they want. It's not with David Davis, is it?
So what's happened this week? Oil has gone up over $50 a barrel for the first time in a long, long time. So the price of oil is recovering. Is this a good thing?
Probably. Obviously, personally, it means I'm going to pay more for my fuel.
Well, that's interesting.
But, does it help the economy? Does it not help the economy? I don't know.
It is interesting that it's widely seen as a bad thing that the price of oil is so low. It means demand is low, but it does help people like you and me get to work a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's made a difference.
Yeah, it has made a big difference.
Yeah.
Collapse of the price of petrol. I noticed the price has still been going up.
Yeah, it's still
far higher than the rate of the price of a barrel of oil.
Yeah.
People are seeing this as a good thing. I mean, when you reduce the price of oil, it's almost like a stimulus to the economy.
Yeah.
The government's not going to do it. They'll subsidise mortgages.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually getting the government, the economy moving, building stuff, manufacturing and that,
yeah.
they're not interested. But the price of oil is kind of...
It's the London-centric kind of... The haves have got shares in that, so it's important. It's like the only thing that matters is the city. It doesn't matter what's happening up the north.
Yeah. Another thing that's happened this week is Google won its case against Oracle over the Java APIs.
That's right.
That won't mean a lot to you out there, but I mean what I find interesting about that is you don't hear very much about IP lawsuits these days.
No.
It was a constant battle a few years ago, wasn't it?
It has got ridiculously complicated.
Yeah.
That famous diagram of who's suing who.
Yeah. I don't know I think people may be thinking actually it's not a great way to go down because it's just constantly escalating warfare, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, they're suing each other and it's just stupid.
And in Austria,
the
far right.
Yeah, indeed. Everyone's saying, yes, he didn't win. He got like 45% or something. It's like that close.
Yeah.
Very frightening. I read a bit about it. It does seem that it's peculiar to Austria in that their attitudes to fascism are kind of, it's not our fault. The Nazis came and made us do it, so it wasn't us. And it isn't really true, and maybe there's an element of that, so their far right have more traction. It's all about a particular type of education, isn't it? I think here we have it very good. If you're educated, you're very unlikely to be far right. The only far right in this country are people who've been failed massively by the system, really.
Yeah, but what about Douglas Murray? He's got an excellent education.
Oh yeah, he's a right-wing tosser, isn't he? But that's a different thing. He's not a fascist in the Nazi neo-Nazi sense. He's not like Nick Griffin. He's just a neoliberal toff who wants all the stuff. Really,
yeah, and he doesn't. I don't think he particularly but he's got particularly stringent views on Muslims. He can say things that sound anti-Muslim, but if you suggest that he is anti-Muslim, he's on his high horse and
a bank of response. Yeah, I mean, all these people who complain about Muslims are always the people who don't know any Muslims, have never been near a mosque. Some of them probably never even met Muslims. Some of them would have met, but you never hear it from people who are actually living in the society with them who don't have a problem. That's who knows about it? Well, I don't know anything about it. So my opinion, those Muslims who said about the Quran, they're wrong. I know better about the Quran than they do. I've never read it. I have done no research, but we're not big fans of religion, are we? We should say.
No. But your characterisation of Austria and their relationship with Nazis and fascists.
This is what I read this week. I knew nothing before I read one article. Well, I'm an expert now.
I spent a few days in Vienna. Mm-hmm. I have to say it's probably my favourite city that I've been to in Europe. Absolutely fantastic. It is like one massive museum.
To be fair, I've been told the sort of countryside areas are fantastic as well.
Actually, it was pretty multicultural.
Right.
Yeah.
The article lied.
Their attitude to the Second World War is different to ours because there were.
Yeah.
It's not really talked about. It's not like we get lessons about it in school. You must understand how we won the war and all that.
Did we get that at school?
I'm sure we studied the Second World War. I remember doing the First World War.
Yeah, we definitely did the First World War. I can't remember. Well, we must have done.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure it was in our favour.
Yeah.
We won, really.
But in Austria, they don't really do that. It's sort of a bit of that piece of history is not really gone into in any detail. Mm. And if you ever go to Vienna, go to the Third Man Museum. the guy does it, is a real enthusiast, and he gives you a bit of a background about Vienna and sort of their attitude. They know nothing about the film, they know nothing about
it means nothing to me.
Period.
It means nothing to me. Sorry.
But yeah, it didn't strike me as a particularly extremist country when I was there.
Didn't see any Nazis there.
I mean, when you're chugging along the river on a little boat and you see people having parties by the side of the river, and
you didn't see just skinhead by the side of the river saying, all I want is a reasonable discussion about immigration, and the silence is deafening.
So I mean, that's basically the news for this week. It's been all about the EU referendum.
Yeah, and it's the same stuff more.
Scare stuff, but we're into Purda now.
Oh, okay.
There was a thing last night where the Treasury released a report 2 hours before midnight saying if you're a pensioner and we vote to leave, you're in big trouble.
They're going to get you.
Yeah, you're particularly for it.
Oh, and the Telegraph decided that they're keeping it secret, but the EU is going to start its army, the one they've been talking about for 45 years. That's actually going to start the day after the referendum. They're keeping it secret. Confirmed.
Telegraph's pretty Eurosceptic, isn't it?
Extremely, yeah. And when the referendum was announced, they ramped it up.
Yeah, strange, isn't it? Sort of they're very pro-establishment.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, that half the establishment is one way, half the establishment is. It's not really anti-establishment unless you talk about the Prime Minister.
Well, it does seem increasingly like a Tory issue.
It is. Well, yeah. That's what everyone's always said, isn't it? Because they're so split over it.
Yeah.
And the Labour Party are as well. But I'm noticing how quiet they are.
Yeah.
And it must be. They've learned a lesson from the Scottish referendum that was so disastrous. Yeah. That's what went wrong.
Yeah,
was going up there and saying, "Yeah, my pal Dave, he's right. I'm not a Tory." Meant that they were completely decimated.
I think that's largely why Jeremy Corbyn refuses to share a platform with David Cameron.
Yeah,
because it was that sort of coming together of Labour and Conservative that did Labour. Accelerated the demise of Labour in Scotland.
Yeah. We don't quite know Jeremy Corbyn's reasoning, but I think that's as tactical. Let's just keep out of this because it's only going to damage.
Yeah, I mean he's going on holiday, isn't he?
Oh really?
People have complained about the fact that he's going. Have a little break. I've been working very hard.
Is that the point that it's not that big a deal, really? Is maybe that the point, or is it more? I mean, you could assume that he's seeing it as we need a moderate EU with some rules that are going to temper the Tories a bit because we've inevitably got lots of Tories to come. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean that is the scary. I mean
that's the problem.
That's going to be the thing that encourages a lot of left-leaning people to vote to Remain is the idea of
unfettered Toryism.
Unfettered Toryism.
And it's easy to suggest that that's what Boris really wants. That's what David Davis really wants. That's what Bob really wants. What's his name? Gove. I've been really rude this episode. I'd like to apologise.
Okay, do you know anything about US politics?
Was this talk of there's going to be a Trump-Sanders debate?
So Trump's eked over the line. I'm not sure if it was Sanders or Trump suggested, but Jimmy Kimmel asked Donald Trump if he'd debate Bernie Sanders, and Donald Trump said, "Yeah, of course," in his bravado. And I think he sort of backtracked afterwards because he thought, "Hang on, shouldn't do that." And Bernie Sanders immediately tweeted, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's get a stadium, as many people as we can in there and do it," because it would absolutely crucify Hilary Clinton because she's backed out of a debate in California.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, what's remarkable this week is the Hillary Clinton campaign is in real trouble.
Yeah.
She's sliding in the polls for the first time. Trump is eking above her. She got a bit of a telling off about her email server. Apparently, there was something that was pretty illegal about it. She should have sought permission, and if she had sought permission, she would have been refused permission, and yet she went ahead and did it. Now the thing about Hillary Clinton is, this has been rumbling on for months, and instead of nipping it in the bud,
let it, and now it's much more effective now. Yeah. If that had been 6 months ago, a year ago, people would have forgotten it. It's still, Hillary Clinton's unreliable, but they wouldn't really remember why.
And Bernie Sanders is actually an excellent strategist. I mean, I read he did an interview for Time magazine, pretty visceral about Hillary Clinton. You are left with a serious sense that he's not willing to compromise on anything with Hillary Clinton. And should he come to the convention and he's not happy with what he's got, real chance that he'd run as an independent. And if he did that, that would end.
That would give Trump. It would be a Trump.
I think Sanders, he was very bullish. He was sort of on his key issues: free tuition, Medicare for all, Medicaid for all, $15 an hour minimum wage, ending the various trade deals.
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty much, I think we can do this. It's going to be difficult, but I think we can get agreement on practically all of it, because he knows he can go to that convention and he can say, we take this on our platform, otherwise I'm going to run.
Yeah.
What are they going to say?
Yeah, it shows what people are saying. Why is he still running? He's lost, but he holds all the cards.
It's still pretty exciting, although for something that should be over,
It's still
it's still pretty exciting. Yeah.
So Trump probably won't debate Sanders.
Well,
It would be epic TV.
yeah. Then
Imagine him shouting, "No!" and Sanders has owned him.
there's talk of $10 million going to charity, and it wasn't clear whether the TV stations were going to supposed to stump up this cash, or whether Bernie Sanders' campaign was supposed to stump up the cash, which is a bit
Sorry, the
peculiar.
TV stations would if it's
Well, that would. It would
How many
sound-
viewers would they get?
It'd be worldwide viewing.
Yeah, they get more viewers than Hillary versus Trump.
Yeah,
Even
definitely. Definitely, and they both can have it would be a nightmare scenario for Hillary Clinton, because both of them would just stand on stage slagging off Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders is really angry with the Clinton campaign.
Yeah.
He was really sticking it into David Brock, which we know, he's been pretty underhanded, fairly typical, but he's really sort of not happy about it, which means his relationship with the Democratic Party is kind of a little bit sour.
Well, he's not really a Democrat, is he? Because a Democrat is something much more.
Well, he's run as an independent for many years, hasn't he? But
Yeah.
he's probably more like an independent because he gets independent voters.
Well, I suppose there is now more chance of change than in 40, 50 years, whatever.
Let's see if we've had any more votes.
Let's have a look.
Da, 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 da.
It's very exciting, no, it isn't.
We've got 4 votes.
Liam Fox, if he featured.
Oh no, we've missed some members out. Okay,
Oh.
so we've got 1 vote for Michael Gove, 1 vote for Theresa May, 2 votes for David Davis. That's interesting.
They're voting for who they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why isn't Philip Hammond there?
Would say Liam Fox if he featured, but I say David Davis. Why isn't Philip Hammond on there? I reckon that if the vote is Remain and there's a rebellion, it's going to be May or Hammond.
They're not Liam Fox. Really? They're going to be David Davis.
The thing is, he's got a platform at the moment, hasn't he?
Yeah.
For the
That's true.
EU Referendum, so he's going to be a bit of coverage. Otherwise, he's pretty much the forgotten man of politics.
Yeah, I suppose David Davis obviously was the alternative to Cameron, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So now Cameron's decided, as Michael Portillo got it so, he just, last week that thing he said was so perfect that basically they're the party of nothing. They're a party of power. They just want to stay in power. They don't care about anything else. It doesn't matter what they're doing. Just do nothing. Just be the Prime Minister. I'm the Prime Minister, you know.
I'd quite like Portillo to get back into politics. I don't think so for now, because he's
I think
quite enjoying retirement.
Yeah, but he's a bit like. He varied wildly over the years. Obviously, he did go very right wing. When he was young, he was a socialist. But certainly, a mature Portillo seems very sensible. The things he says on the programme. He's a bit like King Clarke as well.
Yeah.
Sensible.
Centrist
Economic.
Tories. I mean, there are, people say politics isn't incredibly partisan, but there have been Tories, there are Tories that I would vote for.
Yeah. If King Clarke had won that leadership election that bloody Michael Howard got, it would have got very difficult after the Iraq War. Right. That's it.
Yeah. See you next week. Hopefully, something actually happens next week.
We hope so.
Than...
What is it? 4 weeks till the vote. Lizard's back next week with more lizard stuff. Illuminati. No. Triangle. See you next week.